Canada's sweeping immigration changes/opportunities for temporary workers. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. If you're a temporary worker, international student, or anyone following Canada's immigration policies, this video is essential for you. Canada's recent changes to immigration are making it tougher than ever for temporary residents to secure long-term stability. With stricter rules on work permits, reduced pathways for residency, and capped study permits, many people are feeling the pressure. In today's video, we'll uncover exactly what these new policies mean for your future in Canada. We're also diving into a critical update on spousal open work permits, as new restrictions are limiting opportunities for families to stay and work together. So, make sure to watch till the end to understand how these changes might impact your life and discover proactive steps you can take to adapt. If you're passionate about staying informed on immigration, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated. Let's get started. Canada's immigration shift. Reduced opportunities for temporary residents. Canada's immigration policies have shifted dramatically over recent months, especially affecting temporary workers, international students, and anyone hoping for permanent residency. With a tightening labor market and economic concerns, Canada is implementing policies that significantly limit opportunities for temporary residents. In its 2025 to 2027 immigration levels plan, Canada has set a goal to reduce the share of temporary residents from 6.5% of the population to just 5% by 2026. This reduction impacts thousands, with fewer permits issued through the Temporary Foreign Worker Program, the International Mobility Program, and capped study permits. These changes aim to prioritize Canada's domestic workforce, addressing housing shortages and increasing job opportunities for Canadian citizens. For temporary workers and students, however, this shift creates considerable uncertainty. Tougher rules for the Temporary Foreign Worker Program. Canada's Temporary Foreign Worker Program has undergone major changes, making it more difficult for temporary workers to secure or maintain employment. Employers are now restricted in how they hire for both low-wage and high-wage roles. 1-year limit on low-wage work permits. Work permits for low-wage positions now have a maximum duration of 1 year, forcing frequent renewals and creating job instability, especially for temporary workers in industries like retail and hospitality. Higher wages for high-wage roles. Employers hiring under the high-wage stream must now meet updated wage requirements that reflect cost of living increases. This means temporary workers may face restricted access to certain roles unless employers can meet these new standards. Limits on LMIAs in high unemployment areas. Canada's refusal to process policy now restricts low-wage labor market impact assessments in regions with unemployment rates above 6%, limiting job options for temporary workers in areas with high unemployment. New restrictions for international students. Canada has historically been a top destination for international students, but new policies are changing this landscape. A recent cap has reduced study permits by 10% for 2025, lowering international student intake from 485,000 to approximately 437,000. This reduction aims to address housing pressures and concerns about student exploitation but has immediate effects on accessibility for prospective students. Increased cost of living requirement. To reflect the rising cost of living in Canada, students must now demonstrate greater financial resources to qualify, limiting access for those with fewer financial means. Language proficiency for post-graduation work permits. Beginning in November 2024, all post-graduation work permit applicants must meet specific language benchmarks: Canadian Language Benchmark Level 7 for university graduates and Level 5 for college graduates. This new requirement creates an additional hurdle for students and may limit their ability to work in Canada after graduation. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. Now, let's dive deeper into how these changes are impacting current temporary residents and what it means for their future. Spousal open work permit reductions. Fewer permits, tougher restrictions. One of the most immediate and impactful changes involves spousal open work permits. Canada is cutting over 100,000 of these permits over the next 3 years, reducing opportunities for spouses of temporary residents. Now, only spouses of high-skill, high-demand workers, such as those in healthcare and engineering, will qualify for open work permits. This shift places financial strain on many families, as dual incomes are often essential to manage Canada's high cost of living. For international students, these restrictions are particularly challenging, as they make it harder for families to stay together and work. Prioritizing domestic workforce needs. Canada's policy shift impacts many families' plans and may lead some to reconsider their options for staying in Canada. Reduced LMIA validity periods. Added pressure for temporary workers. The validity of labor market impact assessment approvals has been cut from 18 months to 6 months, giving temporary workers a shorter window to secure work permits and maintain their employment status. This change increases costs and risks for employers, who must reapply more frequently, and it puts additional pressure on workers who depend on LMIAs to maintain job stability. With these reforms, Canada reinforces its commitment to prioritizing domestic labor. Limited pathways to permanent residency. Canada has also narrowed the pathways to permanent residency for temporary residents. Programs like the Canadian Experience Class now target specific high-demand fields, making it more difficult for workers in other sectors to achieve PR. Category-based express entry draws. Express entry now focuses on specific fields like healthcare, technology, and skilled trades. Temporary workers outside of these fields have lower chances of selection, limiting their residency options. PGWP eligibility in high-demand fields. Canada now limits post-graduation work permit eligibility to graduates in high-demand areas, such as healthcare and skilled trades, where labor shortages are critical. Graduates in other fields face fewer options for gaining work experience that qualifies them for PR. Employer-specific focus for LMIAs. Labor market impact assessments now prioritize hiring for employers in industries with critical labor shortages. For those relying on work permits to build a PR application, these new restrictions create additional challenges. Housing crisis and immigration caps. Canada's housing affordability crisis has led policymakers to link immigration levels with housing capacity. By limiting the number of temporary residents, Canada aims to ease housing pressures, especially in major cities. However, this restriction on temporary residency directly impacts workers and students who may struggle to secure affordable housing or work toward long-term residency. Government's rationale and public response. Canada's immigration reforms reflect a shift to balance labor shortages with the needs of domestic workers. According to recent statements, the goal is to achieve sustainable, managed growth. Many Canadians support the new limits due to concerns about job availability and housing, but educational institutions and employers worry about potential labor shortages. Temporary residents face mounting uncertainty, especially those hoping to transition to PR, as traditional pathways become narrower. The mixed public response underscores Canada's balancing act between economic needs and immigration impacts. Proactive steps for temporary workers. Despite these challenges, temporary workers can take proactive steps to increase their chances of staying in Canada. Focus on in-demand skills and certifications. Gaining experience or credentials in high-demand fields, such as healthcare, IT, or skilled trades, can improve the odds of PR, especially through express entry or provincial programs. Improve language proficiency. Meeting Canada's language requirements is crucial, particularly for PGWP applicants. Enhancing language skills to meet Canadian language benchmark levels 5 or 7 can increase employability and PR eligibility. Explore provincial nominee programs. Many provinces offer immigration programs that prioritize skills in specific sectors. Researching and applying to these programs can open additional pathways, even if federal options are limited. Build Canadian ties. Establishing strong ties through work experience, community involvement, and steady employment in high-demand areas strengthens PR applications. Demonstrating commitment to Canada can be beneficial for pathways like the Canadian Experience Class. Stay informed and adapt. Canada's immigration policies are evolving, so staying updated on changes in express entry, PNPs, and LMIA rules is critical. Tracking policy updates can help temporary workers adapt their strategies and take advantage of new opportunities. Networking and skills development. Developing a strong professional network in Canada is essential for securing stable employment and meeting requirements for LMIAs. Connecting with Canadian employers, joining industry groups, and seeking mentorship can help temporary workers stand out in a competitive market. Networking also opens doors to future job opportunities and builds relationships valuable in a shifting immigration landscape. Consider regional immigration programs. Canada's regional programs, including the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot and the Atlantic Immigration Program, encourage skilled workers to settle in less populated areas. For those willing to relocate, these programs may offer more accessible pathways to PR than urban centers. Exploring these options could provide stability for workers facing limitations in larger cities. Pursue additional education and certifications. Temporary workers who invest in additional credentials in high-demand fields may increase their chances of PR certifications, diplomas, or further education in fields like healthcare, tech, and skilled trades can enhance qualifications and help workers remain competitive in Canada's evolving immigration landscape. By aligning skills and career choices with Canada's economic needs, temporary residents can still find paths to stability despite the restrictions. Adaptability, strategic planning, and a focus on high-demand skills will be key for those seeking long-term success in Canada. Staying proactive and connected to immigration updates can help temporary workers turn their current status into a permanent future. As you can see, Canada's recent immigration changes create new challenges for temporary workers, international students, and their families. With stricter work permit rules, tougher residency pathways, and a focus on high-demand skills, staying informed and proactive is more important than ever. Although pathways to permanent residency are narrowing, there are still ways to strengthen your profile, adapt to these changes, and make the most of available opportunities. Thank you for joining us on Canada Chronicles today. We hope this video provided valuable insights into navigating Canada's evolving immigration landscape. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who could benefit from this information. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. See you next time, and good luck on your journey to building a future in Canada.